Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of video 5. We're going to have Joe Pelletieri share more of his experiences with us. He's going to talk about legendary pigeon men such as William H. Pinson, Chandler Grover, Walt Faria. These are some of the people that he knew personally, and he's going to share his experience about how him and them came about to be some of the most dynamic people in the pigeon game as we know them today. Amen? Amen. Thank you very much. My name is Oliver Henderson. I'll see you on part 3.
But pigeons has been a great hobby for me, and allowed me to meet many people, make many friends, and travel the country to the various pigeon shows. You know, there are shows all over the United States, not just rovers, but all breeds of pigeons.
Right.
In fact, this year, the NPA, which is the National Pigeon Association, they're having their annual show in Ontario, California, and they may get as many as 10,000 birds in the show, which will make it the largest pigeon show in this country.
I heard about this show.
Yeah, I've already got my plane reservation. Well, not the plane, but the hotel reservations, and we've got somebody's going to get our a friend of mine's son actually going to get our tickets for the airlines. So we're all square. We got our hotel reservations, like I say, and so we're all set. If nothing happens to change it, we're going.
That's fabulous.
I go down to LA, not in the last couple of years because of my impediment of my legs, but other than that, we go down there every year to what's called a pageant of pigeons put on by the Los Angeles Pigeon Club, which is 5,000, 6,000 birds of all descriptions, you know. So it's a wonderful hobby for a kid because it teaches them responsibility, you know, take care of the birds, make sure they're fed and watered and all that, and it's the fun of being with friends that also have the same feelings towards the birds and get the have the same enjoyment, you know, and it brings those people together and it keeps them away from other things.
That's so true, Joe. I was going to comment on that. You know, it's been a grounding effect for me. You know, when I you know, during my young youthful years, my teenage years, when I kind of wilded out like most teenagers do, you know, I kind of lost focus on what was important and, you know, different things about life that I needed to respect. But as I got older and I got my birds back and I settled back down, and they've been a real instrument to me, you know, for that stability.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's phenomenal what, you know, what they've done.
Well, you grew up.
My life, but I've heard similar stories.
You grew up, became responsible, and your love for the birds made a big difference in your life, undoubtedly. So I think it's a great hobby.
You know, and I have to comment on too what you said about influencing young kids with the birds, because you did that. I remember being a young kid, and we purchased birds, and the young kids that lived over in Maxwell Park. Well, during this time, you were one of the major pigeon men that had decent birds and beautiful birds, and you could sell those young cats' birds for $3 or $4. And these were like birds that were out of this world, right? But I was a teenager. I was like 18, 19 then, but you wouldn't give me that action.
I did what?
You wouldn't give me that action. I guess I was too old. But for the children, for the young cats, you would give them. And I said, where you get this bird at? Where you get this bird at? And it was spin like hell. So I said, wow. Who is this? And they say, this Joe, this come from Joe, I'm going over Joe's house, And I come over your house to buy some birds, but because I was 19, I was, you know, an older cat.
Well, I help a lot of little kids get started.
You weren't in a hurry to help me out.
Well, I had a lot of problem with kids stealing my birds.
I know you did, and that's how, and
That's why I got a 6-foot fence around here. I had to get 2 dogs.
Right.
I had to put in a burglar alarm system.
Right.
You know, because that was plagued.
Right.
In fact, at one time, there was a police stakeout right there under the porch.
But that just goes to show you
And,
the value. The birds were so unusually good. I mean, you know.
Well, what they didn't realize, they steal all my birds, and then I'm out of business, and there won't be any more.
There won't be, that's true. That's true. There's nobody that I know of, Brad.
And Walt, my friend out there in 86th, 2nd Avenue, had the same problem.
Right, right.
In fact, one kid stole all his female pigeons, all his hens. And we found them down by Lake Merritt. About a month later, we played detectives, is what we did. We went from house to house, place to place, where we see birds flying. We asked the kids, and we got one lead after another, and finally we wound up down here behind a car agency called Dominique Cadillac, and that's where the kid lived.
I know that place is right across from Westlake School.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know where that place is.
Well, the kid lived in there.
Wow.
And him and Walt and I walked in the backyard. Here was all his birds, and when they seen us, they hit the wire. They had no water. They were starving to death, and they had no water. They were dying of thirst. So we got the hose and stuck it through the wire in it, and there was some bath pans laying there, and we filled them up with water. And you should have seen the birds dive in there to get the water. It was just horrible. We got the police came, and Walt told him he's taking his birds home, and he said, "Oh, you can't do that." He says, he says, "Those are my pigeons, and I'm taking them home." You see that one? This band number is 2742, and that was 1948. That was 272, and the police checked the band numbers, and that's what they read. And so the police said, "Yeah, there you were. Take them home."
Yeah, well, that was good. That was
So
good.
there were about 30 birds.
Yeah, that was good.
Terrible. You know, why they took the birds and then they neglected them, they let them starve and die. Well, you know, it don't make sense.
No, it didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And, you know, and
And they were beautiful birds, you know.
beautiful birds. I got an idea of just
They were bronzes, gold wings, yellows,
and you got
reds.
famous for bronzes, gold wings, yellows, and high velocity, high gloss reds.
Yeah, well, Walt was the guy that started it all out. And after World War II, when I came home, there was only a couple of birds in my loft, which was on top of the garage at that time. And so I had to get started again, and I got some from Walt. That's how, and that's the ones I had up until a year ago, and I disposed of them all because I can't take care of them anymore.
And that's unfortunate, though, because it was just such a beautiful bird. And talking about how beautiful they were, to this day, in my head, I have a vision of a bird that will not leave me that I saw here in your cave. And he was a black with a pink beak with the goldest wings I've ever seen. And he had white tips. He was beautiful combination.
Bird was it?
You don't even yours.
Oh, one of mine?
Yes, you don't even get cream on black. You don't even get that. I've only seen 2 birds cream on black in my life.
No, I don't think it was black. I think it was probably either a deep bronze or a dark blue checker.
Smoke or something like that.
Yeah. It wasn't black because I didn't have any spread blacks at that time.
Well, I couldn't see him up close because I couldn't get no closer than the gate.
Yeah.
Oh. But he was,
you was in my cage?
In your
Where were
cage.
you at? Peeking over the fence?
I was standing way standing way back over there, and I was like, God, look at that bird. I couldn't. Wow. But I want you to know.
Let me see that, man.
Okay, here we go. And this is my lower part of my cage, and there's a lot of my creams are in here. As you can see right here is, I have a solid cream right here. And the boy is Marilyn Monroe's son, and the girl is, she is off of my cream fountain. And all of the squalls I'm getting off of them are yellow, solid yellows, and I do have some that already come from the heavens. So I'm rebreeding them this year now because this is my color breeding season this year. And here's another cream pair. This bird right here, its name is Noxzema. And I call him that because, you know, if you have any problems, you know, figuring it out, or any lumpy thinking about anything, if you watch this bird right here and you don't believe in deep birds with breaks, then he's going to clear all that up. And that's why his name is Noxzema. And then right below him is, who I have him paired to, is a bird called, let's see if I can let you see it. It's a bird called the Whole Show. And the Whole Show, and I name her the Whole Show is because she's pretty, she's got the look, she's got the style, she's got the body type, she's got everything that you would want in a bird, and she does about 200 and break. She's never hit the ground. Neither one of these yellows right here has never hit the ground. They're both over 200 feet. Amen. All right. And down here is Barack Obama's son right here. And I'm using him because he's a reduce. And I got him to a lace. And I'm getting these little ball heads like this and like this. And I'm really looking for, I know they're gonna come, but what I'm looking for is that really odd color. That's what I'm really looking for. Right now I'm thinking this little hen right here is somewhat of a chocolate with a gray tail and a band on it. Okay? Alright, then of course up here, as you can see, this is a coxswain on age right here. It's hard to see him. He is one of my performer's grandsons. Actually, his daddy is Big White. He's good for about 150 feet. You know, and he did hit the roof when he was young, but he learned better and he stopped bumping. Birds can't do that. I got him paired to 2020's daughter right here. She throws excellent birds, really savvy, high intelligent type of pigeons. Okay? All right.